you love entertainment, current events, and Hollywood, don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
Hey, riconoflow here. How are you?
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. I love going back to the beginning. I always say the beginning charts our trajectory in life, our little habits we pick up along the way, follow us into our adulthood. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. What was that like? And, how did you find your way into music?
Okay, well, I grew up in Brazil. That's where I'm originally from. So a lot of freedom over there. What actually brought me into music was, it's kind of funny, it was a tragedy. Like I lost a friend and we made a song in his memory. So just to express, the grief. So that's what brought me into music. It was someone that lived in Brazil, moved to South Africa, and was ran over there. Anyway, but that's what brought me into music and started me in this beautiful path of, creative expression.
I love that. Sad, but I love that you got into it. I think I don't know what it is, but I think tragedy always kind of puts us into, and I don't know, I guess I'm a person of, I do really well when something is like, there's like a lot of pushback, or there's like, adversities, or when I'm at my lowest. I think the most creativity or whatever spark comes out of that,
It
like,
kind of pushes you, right? It pushes
right.
you, like once you pass that limit that you thought that you couldn't, like you kind of tend to shine. I believe that too. And I also believe that nothing is purely negative or, purely positive. There's always two sides. So if you're able to flip it and find the good side, that's what I always try to do. I always try to do that. Anything that I go through, I try to find, okay, what can I take out of this? How can I rise better than I was before from what I'm going through now?
That's
So I guess.
beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it takes in this business of music. When you got into music and you decided, okay, I want to take this seriously. Uh, you know, when was that, and how did you discover your sound as far as like an artist?
I'd say that, of course, in the beginning, I was just making songs for fun, and it kind of like naturally I found myself like doing these little performances in clubs, local clubs in Brazil, but it was all just fun and games. I would say that truly, maybe a year and a half ago is when I really was like, okay, this is a business. Like let's treat it like, of course, it's art and I love doing it, but I was like, let's look at this as a business. How could I make it be self-sustainable so that I could dedicate more of my time to it? Because in the beginning, right, every artist, you're doing that, but you also have a day job and so the point is like, how can I generate money off of this so that I can dedicate more of my time to it, to doing this that I love? So that would be kind of a year and a half ago, I'd say, where I really made a vision and thought a calendar. It was like, okay, got to do all these releases. So I've been doing monthly releases, planned it out, all the business structure. And I think that musically, like my identity, kind of around that same time, I would say I started finding myself at a point where I could listen to something now that I made a year ago and still be like, oh, okay, this is cool. Because I'm sure as a creator yourself, like you're always evolving, right? So sometimes I'm sure if you look at something you created 2 years ago, you're probably like, oh, this, wasn't that great. So I'd say like
Right.
a year ago, I got to a point where now I can listen to it and say like, I've evolved, but this is still cool.
I love that. And, I think you touched on something that a lot of artists don't really talk about much, is that the pursuing your dreams and your passion, especially the entertainment business, because it's such a saturated business, how, you have to have something else to fall back on to, you know, fuel your passions and creativity because it's so expensive. It's like,
Exactly. It takes money, right? It takes money to make money, is what they say, right? So yeah, you have to. I mean, I'm not ashamed, of having a day job. I think that maybe we don't talk about it, but it's the reality, right? You're not making tons of money right away. And on the contrary, like you said, you're spending money, right? You have to buy the beats, the equipment, the this, the that. You have to fuel it. I feel like it's a business. A lot of times we forget that it's a business. And any business, you look at any great enterprise, they were in the red for months, years maybe, right? So it's what it takes. So yeah, I do have a day job, but the goal is to, if I can generate money out of this and dedicate more of my time to it. It's what they say, you don't work a day of your life when you're doing what you love. But it's
absolutely.
it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it, right?
Right.
There's a price. There's a price to pay. So we're here, but
We're
loving every
here.
minute of it. Loving every
Ex-
minute of it. I paid gladly.
exactly. I see, I love that. And that's how you know you're in your, I guess, your calling, right? Like that, your
Yeah.
purpose. And when you love every minute, even if it is hard to get to that level that, and I think that's, any greats, I think it takes that kind of persevering and pursuing to just get to that level of greatness, especially. And I guess it's subjective. I guess greatness, I guess, is quote unquote, it's subjective. So I guess this
Yeah.
depends on what you find, what you want it to be.
Yeah, I guess I mean, at least to me, greatness is a really like a state of being, right? You become great inside. It's not really what outside. Like the outside, it will come as a result of what you became inside, right? So I'm kind of in that pursuit internally, right? Being the best that I can be, and then the world, the physical world will catch up. That's what I believe. So yeah,
I
I
like
I do
that.
it for free. I pay to do it. That's how much I love it.
I
Right. I don't
love
do it for
that.
free. I pay to do this. So
Yeah, I
yeah, if
love that.
there's money in it, better.
Right, exactly, exactly. You describe local as a feeling of belonging. When was the first time in your life do you remember feeling truly local, even if you weren't actually from that place?
I think truly the first time was after I moved here to Puerto Rico. Because I lived like 9 years in Miami first when I first got to America. Then I lived in California for a few years. And then when I got here to Puerto Rico is when I kind of felt like, oh, wow, I feel like I belong here. I felt like I surf. I'm a surfer. So as a surfer, you're constantly kind
Nice.
of dealing with this whole local thing. Like, oh, you're not a local, like can't be here. You can, you can't, whatever. So it was the first time where I was like, okay, like I belong here. This feels like home. And I that was kind of the concept of the song. I feel like because sometimes you're born and raised somewhere and you still don't feel like alone. You don't feel like you belong, right? You're still
100%. I
searching.
honestly, oh my gosh, yes. You literally took the words out of my mouth. I literally feel the same thing because I'm originally from Florida and I
Okay.
always grew up feeling like I'm not, like, this is not my place. Like, this is not for me to grow. This is not my place. I should be, yes, I appreciate the upbringing there and the culture but I just never felt like that was my place. So I've always kind of been somewhat of a gypsy.
Yeah.
So I traveled a lot. I was the one I'm the baby of the family. So, I'm the one that with the big ambitions and dreams of like, I want to do this as my life. I want to go there. And, I'm a risk taker. So I never felt, like, okay, this is my home. I just felt like, you know, I make, it home is like something, I'm an adventurous. I don't know. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I like that you
Yeah, I
said
mean,
you have to feel like, yeah, something's home for sure.
you have to feel it. So it's a feeling. That was kind of what the concept of the song kind of came together that way. Because I truly when I create, I don't really it's not freestyle, but I don't write anything down. I kind
Oh,
of like
nice.
create on the spot. I'll stop, think about a record, and keep going. So it's not freestyle. I want to claim to be a freestyler. That's not the case. But the concept kind of comes later. I make it and then I'm listening to it because I guess it's just what was inside of me. That's kind of my process. I'll just like when I'm choosing to be whatever, I'll stop, do some breathing, kind of open myself up and let it come to me. So whatever's inside at that moment is what comes out. And then later I'm kind of analyzing my thoughts and what was said. And that's how I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's what it is.
I love that it comes
Yeah.
later, and everybody's process, is really
Yeah.
different. But I love hearing about the process. Um, when you and I'm curious about that. When you do go into making a project, are you hands on in every part of the process? Like, are you in the with the producer? Are you doing, or are you doing it like everything?
No, 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 no. I am not in with the producer. It's kind of a mix. Sometimes I'll get like they'll send me a beat pack, or sometime I'll ask for something specific, but I'm not too overbearing. I kind of because I'm the singer songwriter and I let the producer, that's his thing. So maybe I'll give him some like, hey, I kind of want this or that, but I let him, I'm like, okay, this is your thing. Go shine, go do what you do. I want to let him. So no, I'm not in that, but I'm just more singing, songwriting. But in that, yes, because when I send him my vocals, I've already put like, if I want to put auto tune, like I've already put everything, I'll send it ready.
Nice,
That part of
nice.
my vocals, I'm more involved.
I like that, and I think that that's really cool that you're involved, but like you let people do their thing and have their like that creative space because it does take a village to make a nice song, and because there's some part people that just have to be they're so anal they have to be involved in every part of someone's job, and I think it to relieve that power is a good thing.
Yeah, I feel like I'm big at giving people credit, when it's due. So I'm like, hey, listen, this is a partnership. There's no song without me. There's no song without you. We're all equally important. So I want to let you, and like you said, everyone's different. I respect everyone's way. I never think that my way is the best way or the only way. That it's just my way, right? That's kind of my take on life in general. Like I'm never someone to try to push my views on someone, whether it's political, religious, whatever. I'm like, this is what works for me, and I'm very happy. As long as you're happy, we don't have to talk about it. What you're doing is working. If you're unhappy, now maybe we can talk and share and see if something could change. But if you're happy, what you're doing is working. Like there's no one way to happiness. There's many ways. We're all different. There can't be one way, right?
I 1000% agree with that. 1,000%. I have a fun question for you,
Okay.
and there's no wrong answer, I promise.
Okay.
But but the three levels of influence: money, power, or respect. If you could choose only one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
Respect for sure. Respect. I mean, that's just something that is earned, right? So I think it's more precious. It's something that money, I can have money today and not have money tomorrow, right? But once you have the respect, unless of course you do something to damage it, like it's for life, right? So respect for me for sure is the most important.
That's beautiful. And I'm curious in this business of music because entertainment business there is so saturated. There's like with technology, AI, you can quite literally do anything today. Do you feel like now that AI is here, obviously there's pros and cons to everything.
Yeah.
Does it do you feel like it takes the creative process out of it because it's music essentially can be made overnight and not just like.
Yeah, I think about that a bit, and I feel like everything, like you got to know how to use it, right? Technology is a good thing if you use it the right way. But I think like the human touch will never, it's never gonna go away, right? Because there's a feeling, right? The music is really, it's a feeling, right? It's an emotion that you feel on the other side, right? And I don't know, but I don't think AI could reproduce that, right? So I think that's why, in my view, you have a lot of people that, especially growing up in Brazil, now it's changing, but Before it would be like 90% of the music would be in English that were
Oh,
on the
okay.
radios. We don't speak English in Brazil. So
Oh,
no one really knows what's being said, but you feel the feeling,
right.
you
Yeah.
know? So I
Oh.
think that that could never be replaced by AI. I could be wrong, I'm not a
No,
technology
I
guy, but
completely I completely agree with you. Like there's something to the rawness, the realness of the human connection, right? I feel like it just can't be, duplicated by, AI. And for,
yeah.
that's just I completely agree with that.
You could use the AI to help you and make the beat and
Yeah.
this and that, whatever, but I feel like that the it factor, like that's human, right? That's why you see
1,000.
like there's so many artists out there, but there are only a few that connect with people. Like there's something that you can't teach it, you can't replicate it. It needs to come from inside.
Absolutely. Do you feel like music now is going in the favor of the artists now because like there's so many producers, there's so many like agencies to get a part of, like people want to get signed, but now you can literally do anything yourself. Do you feel like we're going in a better direction as far as like artistry?
I definitely feel like it's cool that we have like that freedom, like you said, like oh you could be at your house with your laptop and you could pretty much, make them song, record it, distribute it using all these tools, like you said. I couldn't say if it's better or worse because I'm just starting, right? I don't know what the industry was before, but just hearing about it, I think it's cool that we have so much more power, right? But then, like you said, pros and cons. But now there's 100,000 new songs going on Spotify every day. So it's pros and cons, right? I don't know, but I definitely feel like more power to the people, right? We're all here and we can all just create and be creative. Not everyone's going to be a success and a hit, but I think it's very cool that you could express yourself very easily. You can make music for fun and you put it there or not. And I think that people are going to be happier. They're happier when they can be creative and it's easy to be creative. They can be happier. So I think it's great.
I love that. What inspires you to create a song? Like what brings you inspiration, and like what's your like process when is it like watching something? Like what is that like?
Um, I think that kind of like an introvert in some ways, so it's all internal for me. Yes, sometimes maybe I'll watch something, but it's not like I'll watch something and be like, oh, I gotta go create something. I gotta go record. I think it all goes into my mind and it's just like taking it all in, take it all in. And then when I go record or create something, it'll come out. I'm sure there's like shades of something that I watched, something that I listened to, something that I saw. Like I'm always out in nature and I'm in the water, I'm surfing. So I'm sure it all comes out and there's some influence, but I'm not someone that I've heard of artists that they're like, oh, I'm going to create an album. So they'll lock themselves in and watch certain movies or they'll listen to some. I'm not like that, but I'm sure that it all gets imprinted in the mind. So that I'm someone that's very aware and cautious of what I'm listening to, what I'm watching. I make sure that the mind is not getting polluted with things that I don't want in there. Right. I'm obsessed with my
Love that.
well-being. It
Yes.
comes first, second, and third. So, I guard myself. I try not to watch the news and get like it just makes me anxious. I'm not saying, like I said,
Yes.
my way is not the best way, but for me, it makes me anxious. I'm like, I'm suffering about this thing that might not even happen. And even if it
Right.
does, it might not even affect me, but I'm here suffering about it.
Right.
So I try to guard myself, just watch beautiful things, listen to light, upbeat music. So I meditate every
Yeah.
day. I do breathing exercises. I'm
I
always
love that.
working on myself.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. And I think that's very important. Your well-being and mental health is such a big point of for me, like in life in general, just because you can't perform at your highest capacity
Yeah.
if your mental is not right.
Yeah.
So
It's nice that we everyone talks about it so much now, right? Because I feel like in older days, like no one would talk about it. And I feel like the worst thing that you can do is hold these things inside because you feel alone. The moment you talk to someone, they're like, oh, that happened to me last week. Oh, my mom was feeling that way. And then you're like, oh wow, this is normal. I'm not alone. Automatically you cool down, right? When you're inside your mind and you think you're alone, like everyone's so happy and I'm here suffering. I feel like it's cool that everyone's so open about it now and they talk about it and people share it on their social media. And it's like you said, mental health is such a big thing. Everyone's talking, everyone's taking care of themselves. Super important.
100%. You said that music has no boundaries. What, where do you think artists are bound in, as an art, like artistry nowadays in today's society?
Um, when I said that, I was kind of like thinking of myself because at one point I kind of thought like I had to make music just in English. And then I was like, oh no, I'm gonna make it just in Portuguese. And then I was like, why am I putting these boundaries? Like I am fluent in English, I'm fluent in Portuguese. When I talk in my house, I'm constantly switching and mixing them together. I'm like, why am I limiting myself? I have all these tools in my toolbox. Why not use them all? So that's what for me it was that the whole boundary thing. I was like, there's no boundaries. This is just art. Shouldn't be serious. I should be able to do whatever I want to do, and even with genres. Sometimes I'll be like, I shouldn't take this beat because it's too electronic or it's too like it shouldn't matter, right? Like in the end of the day, I feel like if it's authentic and it's coming from a real place, people will connect to it. There's space for everything and every type of music and everything out there. Space for everyone.
Absolutely. The upcoming EP keeps a cohesive, relaxed, sensual sonic version. Was that intentional for from the start, or did you like kind of reveal itself over time?
It was because the name of the EP came to me before, so I kind of already had like a vibe in mind. So I was a little more intentional in choosing the beats and everything, making sure it would come together. It's the first time I'm putting a project like that together. I've just been doing just singles, just like every month putting out new music. But then I was like, okay, now I think it's time to put together a project where everything is cohesive and it's, the same vibe and the same energy. So yes,
I love
definitely.
that. I love that. Your mission is to spread loving vibration. What does that look like beyond streaming numbers and social media metrics?
Oh yeah, sure numbers, social media metrics is that's like second. I
Right.
definitely I mean, of course, that is how we measure success, right? These days. But yeah, truly to me is more about I want to be of service too. I don't want it just to be an ego thing. I want to exactly like spread love. I want people to when they listen to the music, I want them to feel good. I want them to laugh or I want them to feel sexy or I want them to feel there's some tracks that are more like ego driven where it just makes you feel like yes, like I'm the man or I'm the boss lady, whatever it is. I want you to feel good. Always I want you to feel good, make you smile or make you laugh or make you want to go out, be with your friends, whatever it is, but I want it to always be positive. That's
I
that's
love
a
that.
most important to me.
And that's important because I think a lot of people in the music industry don't kind of steer away from the positivity music. I think I mean, I don't know. Do you feel that? And again, maybe not now because I mean, it's fairly new with music and stuff, but have you felt that of like you have to do the trending songs to stay relevant? Have you felt that pressure at all?
Yeah, I've had like people that come and tell you like, oh, why don't you do something like this? Or why don't you do something like that? Maybe not people that are professional for the industry, but everyone has an opinion. I'm sure you, with your creative business, someone always, you should do this or you should do
Yeah.
that. But it's kind of like, listen, I got to do what's true to me. Like, I can't just do because this is successful. I'm going to do it, because I mean, to me, it's not, it's, of course, I want to be successful, but it's not just about that. I want to be original. I want to be true to who I am. It's not just like, oh, let me just do this because this was successful. But yeah, people come to me and they have all these opinions and these great ideas. You should do it. Look, this guy did it like this and it was such a success. I was like, well, that's who he is. That's not who I am. And I'm happy for him. And, I'm happy for everyone that's successful, but I want to carve my own way, my own path.
Ah, I love that. It's so refreshing to hear. Carve your own way, your own path. A lot of people don't do that these days. And it's so important, to be able to stay authentically you, because there's nobody else that's going to be you or can duplicate who you are.
Yeah, I feel like that is the difference. Like, we are all unique. Like, that's what you have to explore. Your uniqueness, whatever it is, right? I feel like in life in general, any business endeavor that you right start, like, you got to explore your strengths. Like, what makes you you? Why are you different? Why should these people want to do business with you? Because you're you, right? So, like, you got to explore that, focus on that, not I saw this other people, they're doing this stuff. Well, you're not them. They did it because that was authentic to them, right? It's not just numbers, it's not just money, it's happiness, it's a life thing, right? It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. We're gonna be here for a long
Ooh,
time. You want to
you're
look back
preaching.
and you want to look back and be proud, or do you want to look back and say, oh, I made a lot of money, but I wasn't really happy, I wasn't really, doing what I love? I mean, like I said, nothing wrong with that. If that makes you happy, just making the money, that's cool. But that's for me, that's not everything. It's not it,
That's beautiful. I love that. Ah, so refreshing to hear.
yeah.
Um, um, you know, and I'm curious of what your answer is going to be for this one, but if you could collaborate with any artist, living or dead, who would it be and why?
It's actually an easy one for me. It would be Lil Wayne.
Oh, really? Wow, would
Really.
never expected it.
Yeah. Because he's like my all-time favorite. I would say that he's like the last idol that I had.
Mm,
Because I feel like as I matured and you grow older, I feel like you start understanding that these are just humans, just like us. Right. So of course I admire the art that people are doing, but I know they're humans just like me and they're great at their job and they make beautiful music, but I don't put them on the pedestal anymore. So he was the last artist where I was still on that, mindset that where you're like, oh my God, this is, he's God, he's the greatest. So that's why it would be him. Because after that, I kind of already was had a little more awareness to be like separate things, like, hey, this person's great, their music's great, their art is great, but I know he's a human, like he's just like me, he has his downfalls, it's not perfect. I don't know any of them personally, but I'm sure no one's perfect. We're all humans, we're just doing what we do.
absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, it's a great answer. I mean, Lil Wayne is, I mean, for his time, he was like one of the greatest rappers of all time back
For
when he
a,
was,
a big period, right? Like he was
yeah,
relevant for a long time, I
a
would
long
say.
time.
So yeah, he taught me a lot.
Absolutely.
I
I love that. I love
would
that.
say that. Yeah.
What advice would you give to any artist or anyone out there that's trying to really do this music stuff or just get in this business?
Well, the advice I would give, and I think it could be applied to anything, is, be true to yourself, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, and you gotta love the grind. You gotta love the process more than the outcome. If you just love the
Mm-hmm.
outcome, it's just not gonna last. Like there's a price to pay to be great, and you gotta be willing to do
Wow, that
it.
was beautifully said. Well said. I love that. So many like gems in this interview.
Good, good, good.
Where can people find your music and follow you on social media?
Okay, I'm pretty active on Instagram. My handle is at Rico No Flow. Pretty easy, Rico No Flow. And on Spotify, the same. Just search for Rico No Flow, and there is no other one. RICONOFLOW. Rico No Flow.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
It was
you
a
for having
pleasure.
me. I appreciate the opportunity. This was awesome.
Yay. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Awesome.